you look in this barrel here? Don't look in that barrel there. There's worms in there.
The state of Michigan is composed of two geographic sections. The lower portion is commonly referred to Lower Michigan, the Mitten, or just Michigan. The upper portion is a peninsula. The two are separated by the Straits of Mackinac, the connection between Lake Michigan and Lake Huron. The UP, or Upper Peninsula, as it's commonly referred, is separated from its southern counterpart by more than just Lake Michigan and Huron, though, but a difference in culture. Known for its natural beauty, serenity, and downright sparseness, the UP can be a wonderfully mysterious place. But this video is not about Michigan, or even the UP. It's about a little-known settlement found in the uppermost wilderness of the state, which holds long-forgotten history of the American frontier.
You can see where we started in the motel. We never finished the motel. We can go back and see the other side.
That voice is that of Christopher Janik, Indiana native, but local historian and expert on Fort Wilkins.
Yeah, there's a big hole in the ground. You can see that. That's actually just a mistake in the model. They dropped it a couple times.
Christopher leads no less than 10 guided tours of Fort Wilkins a day. And when I reached out to him, interested in Fort Wilkins history, he was glad to give me a one-on-one tour of the entire locale. So, our executive producer and I loaded up in the company's old minivan and headed north to Copper Harbor, Michigan.
It was actually Jerry Seinfeld who founded this village in 1407, and he built this.
Jerome Seinfeld landed on the tip of the Keweenaw Peninsula in 1406 as a pioneer looking to tame the vast wilds of the Great Lakes area. With him he brought only a small ration of bleach and enchanted brooms. To his surprise, though, he was not the first settler. The area was already inhabited by a small, yet struggling colony, burdened by memes. Mr. Seinfeld quickly realized the needs of the struggling group and began to establish the area as a powerful shipping port, with main exports of bleach, Cool Ranch Doritos, Code Red Mountain Dew, and toilet paper.
He was also a witch salesman. He would sell witches to the local colonies to try to flood the memes out. That's what the brooms are for.
He may not have been the first settler, but without Jerry, the settlement would have never been more than a gathering of huts with starving inhabitants, certain to have been lost to history.
Barrels and crates of bleach. They got bags of bleach, crates of bleach. These potatoes were laced with arsenic.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Why is he dancing?
He was happy about the bleach shipment coming in. Oh, here he got some cups where he'd drink his Code Red Mountain Dew, and some bowls where he'd store his Doritos. In fact, in the back room, there were barrels upon barrels of Doritos when they discovered the village. All nacho cheese, of course. There was this bulletin, so he'd know what kind of memes to make, how much they cost, the supplies needed for the memes.
Once a burden on the inhabitants, memes were tamed by Mr. Seinfeld, created and distributed within Fort Wilkins and nearby settlements. They were traded like currency because of their healing and entertaining properties. Along with memes, the fort eventually became a stockpile for toilet paper, one of their primary commodities and exports. They were stored in small, specially built buildings all around the fort.
They'd store more toilet paper in here, and those flaps were actually, they'd store more toilet paper down in there.
Can I open them?
Yeah, feel free. There should just be more toilet paper down there. Someone crapped down there again, didn't they?
The local kids had vandalized the restored toilet paper storage building, just like that fateful spring in 1662.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, someone crapping.
Oh, how history is doomed to repeat itself. Thankfully, though, one thing local hoodlums have a hard time messing with is the fort's vast collection of invisible furniture.
This is where they store their invisible furniture while you step.
Fort Wilkins still remains the largest, undisturbed collection of invisible furniture in all of the United States.
They always keep the walls open so you can walk around the edges to them, but never any further. This was where they kept their fuse box. So you're going to want to go out back the way you came. I don't want to trip over any chairs.
Soon after the creation of invisible furniture, the colonists also discovered yet another household tool that we still use today.
I was referring to the colonists' discovery of the fire extinguisher, which came in handy when the mine caught fire in 1604.
The mines Christopher mentions are the labyrinth of tunnels burrowed beneath the fort's footprint. The cool, damp mine shafts were not built by the colonists, though, nor was it Mr. Seinfeld who dug them. They seem to have an otherworldly origin.
You can see right here all of the Alamo tunnels that they discovered under the village, which is kind of coincidental because they built all those houses there, and then they're like, hey, just happens to be one tunnel under each house. So you can see where the tractor beams pulled all the houses to where they're at now, which is kind of exciting, Here we have some rocks that they fell in.
Fort Wilkins was also the birthplace of other notably famous individuals.
Samuel L. Jackson was actually birthed inside this tree. That was back in 1734. And of course, 4 years later, he wrote his hit song about the year. That was Samuel L. Jackson, if you didn't know.
Although the village hosted impressive capital and innovative furnishings, over its legacy, the fort saw many deaths, imposed by the difficult lifestyle and environments of the far north climate.
As you can see, they were they had a big problem with tripping and falling. They injured themselves a lot. That's how they died.
After years of hardships and wading through the waters of a small gene pool, or pond if you will, younger generations of Fort Wilkins suffered with terminal klutziness, and in severe cases, forgetfulness.
Sometimes they'd forget the knife in the meat, which was deadly when someone went to eat it. But again, that's how they died.
To escape their stumbling neighbors, some people chose to live in isolation, while still within the village limits. But their precautions led to their own end.
So here we have the front porch. These people were very, they're antisocial, so they built a window instead of a door here. So they were never able to leave, so they didn't actually survive long. As you can see, they have a chair in there, and they used to sit in it. The cane there was used to, we're not going to talk about that one.
And even the community well betrayed many poor souls.
You can't drink the water because there's no bleach in it.
As the success of the port grew, so did outside influence, and the town, hidden in the remote forests of pine, became known to a certain Ugandan cult leader.
This didn't exist until the late 2013 when they heard about Coney 2012, hashtag Coney 2012. They decided to build this outhouse here so that their children, if they were abducted, they could seek a safe place inside the village. And because if someone's abducted and they run to the village, they're still in the village and they know where they're at. No, dude, I just told you what's in here. No, No, that's where they keep the children. You know, nowadays people retire at 65. Back then, people only lived to like 35, and they'd retire at 20. And this is what they do on their retirement day. They'd walk down this very path. This path has actually been modified in 2002. But they'd walk down this path, and they'd walk right off into the water, just as we're about to do.
Like with any civilization, growth and prosperity brought division and disparity. Disagreements began compiling with neighboring tribes over access to and the impact of the fort's abundant resources. The tensions climaxed when followers of Gerald Seinfeld wanted to make part of the fort into a shrine.
To be converted to a shrine, but the natives turned him down. So he was frustrated. He said, "Fine, we're locking this up. You can't use it. And if you ever use it, we're going to smite you with airline food." So, you know, that was his verdict on the matter.
The curse of airline food upon the natives led to what historians call the Great Meme War.
When the Great Meme War waged, and the walls actually came down. These were rebuilt in 2015. As you can see, that was several years ago, so there's moss already growing on them. But if you look closely, you can see right there where the plank split. That's where the wall came down. There's that section there. Actually, there's a lot of them.
Although much of the fort survived, and was obviously later restored by the National Park Service, the once powerful industrial center of the Keweenaw Peninsula slowly crumbled into ruin. What remains is only a husk of its former greatness, a testament to the accomplishments of man and God alike. May the historic white buildings and the display cases they house forever remain solemn on the placid bank of Lake Fanny Ho.
We're gonna end this tour over here by the moose slaughtering station. You know, there was much joy here. This is where they'd have all their festivities, so I figured we'd end our tour here because, you know, there was all that dark stuff about them. They died from quarantining their soap. So yeah, just a thought to you: if you ever get the chance, kill a moose, because it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.